Greetings everybody and welcome back to Choco's channel. My name is Choco. It's a delight to have you back because it's over a year since I've been here and I'm so sorry. I was supposed to make a review of Black Panther movie last year after watching it, but that didn't happen. So just to recap quickly from the last video I made, it was the anticipation of the Black Panther. And since I've already seen it like 3, 4, 5, 6 times in the cinema, let's get into it.
Tell me something. What do you know about Wakanda?
It's a third world country. Textiles, shepherds, cool outfits.
All a front. Explorers have searched for it. Called it El Dorado. They looked for it in South America. But it was in Africa the whole time. I'm the only one who's seen it and made it out alive. I can see you.
The world is changing. Soon, there will only be the conquered and the conquerors.
Step into the spotlight.
You are a good man
Step into the spotlight.
with a good heart. And it's hard for a good man to be a king.
So this movie has been anticipated and it made over $1 billion worldwide. And let's get back to Africa because I am in Africa right now. I'm in Ghana, Accra. And this video is made with the help from AGA Communications. So, Black Panther movie. I absolutely loved it. Hence the reason why I saw it many times in the cinema. I could of course be speaking about this movie the whole evening, but I've just made 3 points, like 3 good points and 3 bad points about what I think about the movie before we make my review. So if we start with the bad thing. Number 3 for me is basically the CGI. It's not because it's all around bad, because there are definitely some good points that are very, very nice, but then there are some points that are so bad that you can't really get away with it. And that was, one of the parts is basically where T'Challa and Killmonger is fighting and where they fall down into the vibranium where the vibranium train is carrying the raw vibranium. And that whole fight where they fall down is just bad. It's as if like you're playing a video game from 2001. That's how bad technology. I'm so sorry. And number 3 of the good thing from the movie for me is the women. I am absolutely delighted that the female characters are so strong and they're depicted in such a beautiful, positive light, and they kick ass. You know, even the bodyguards of T'Challa are women. And if you compare that to a former living ruler on this planet Earth who also had women to protect him, it was Gaddafi. Not because I want to compare Gaddafi to T'Challa, but he had women to bodyguard him as T'Challa has. And by the way, the female bodyguarding T'Challa is actually also similar to some female guards here in Ghana called Ya Asantewa. And she was leading, so Okie is resembling her. So that's actually a real female character from this life taken into Wakanda. And I just think that's so interesting that they managed to take some lead figures from African history to put them in Wakanda, in the Black Panther movie. I can't mention them all because I can't remember all them all, but the people who knows the African history and Ghanaian history definitely knows that there are some comparison about some of the characters like T'Challa and Killmonger, some of the others. They have certain parts of personalities of some of the leaders that's been around in Africa and some of the stories that's been going around. So that's been a bit interesting. So number 2 of the bad things, I think, is definitely the love. I am a bit not satisfied, a lot unsatisfied about how the love has been depicted in this movie. It's not because it's not there, but I just don't see the affection, you know. If you just compare to some of the other characters in the MCU, you have the Iron Man, how his love developed with Pepper, and they have much more like kissing the cheeks and more like flirty, you know, these kind of things. And when you see Hawkeye as well, the way he's with his wife, you don't get to see them together before later, but it's alright. But it's just to show you that these white characters, you get to see them show love. But what about in Black Panther, when you have love for the black people, love between black people, it's not so affectionate. You get that one kiss with T'Challa and Nakia, and I was like, come on, finally we have like this royal regal couple, and the kiss is a bit dry. You know, it's not because I'm looking for sex or anything. I'm just looking for something a bit more affectionate, you know, that I can see that he really loves and cares for Nakia, you know. So I just really want to see them just have this moment, you know, instead of just that one dry kiss. And it's not because they're bad actors, they're not. But I believe that certain direction have been made to picture them in a certain way that you don't get to see them tangle up, you know. But that's just my my opinion. So the other good thing, the second good thing for me is the African culture. I like that the African culture has been depicted in a positive light, because that's not something you see in the Western movies, like Hollywood and other Western movies so much. You really don't get to see like African spirituality in a good way. You always see like in a bad light, like voodoo is always negative. You see witchcraft and everything. And I'm like, I'm so tired of that, because it's so much more than that. So here in Black Panther, you get a little taste of what it can be like and what it is like. And this whole connection about reaching out to your ancestor is such a big part of the African culture, when you're not talking about Christianity or Islam. But just like we just talk about the root of the nature of African culture, like spirituality, like ancestors is something that you do not joke about. You just don't joke about it. It's something because it's part of the African history, part of the African culture. You believe it. So it's just uplifting to see how it was integrated in this movie. And also the colors, and you have people from the South African Nkosi, and you have people from the Fula culture, and you have people from Nigeria, and all this urban mix in this Wakanda. Which brings me to the number 1 issue about this movie, Black Panther, is the depiction of Africa. The notion of Africa is just one. You don't talk about Africa like Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, or Kenya, all these vibrant countries. When people in movies or America talk about, oh, I'm going to go to Africa, but they never mention about one country, and that's so annoying, because Africa is not one big country, you know. It's actually one nation with a lot of countries in it that have lots of varieties of cultures living. Even looks are so different, you know. As I mentioned, the culture is such a big variety. So that's why when they in America move, oh, I'm going to Africa, just say like one nation or one country, that is a problem. So when the Black Panther is making Wakanda, whole Africa in Wakanda, that strengthens the idea that that some Americans have of Africa. That's just one pie hole. But it's a continent with lots of beautiful culture, countries, languages, people, features, colors, everything. It had everything. So, to my number one good thing is that this movie is depicting a Black superhero. Not just a Black superhero, but an African superhero. Yes, I know the story is created by a white man, but just to have the story about an African superhero is a huge deal. It's not just a superhero from Oakland. It's not just a superhero from Alabama or Texas. It's an African superhero. Maybe even though it's a made-up country, it's still an African country. And for kids all over the planet who have this hue, and to see someone look like them, even for me to see strong female characters who looks like me, if I was a kid seeing this, that would pump my brain, that would motivate me so much, that would inspire me so much. Because as I grew up, I'm just talking from my personal experience, as I grew up in Denmark, I did not have any Black female people to look up to because there were none. And so I'm just so happy for this next generation that they have T'Challa to look up to, they have Shuri to look up to, they have Nakia and Okoye and the Queen Mother to look up to, and for the guys that they have T'Challa to look up to, they have M'Baku to look up to, and all these things that builds a child's brain, to build characters, to give some hope and some integrity and some mental stability about who they are or who they can look up to, just means a lot. And I think what Black Panther did that was so brilliantly, it invited people to come in the national attire, not just invited Black people to come in African attire, but people from Korea, China, wherever they go, when they went to see the movie, they were inspired to show up in their African, but in the national attire, cultural attire. So also just one thing that separates Africa with the country, not just one nation, is that when people represent that country, their clothing has a story, Even this kente is Ghanaian, So when people look at it, okay, that's Ghanaian. If you have the Maasai people, not the samurai. I'm talking about Japan now. I mean the Maasai people, they're wearing red, So that's just a few things to locate you. Okay, you're from this culture, you're from this culture. So it's just important not to mix that up for a continent with different countries and different cultures. So Black Panther for me is a good movie. I would definitely recommend it if you haven't seen it yet. I would give it 5.5 out of 6. The reason I give it 5.5 out of 6 is because it managed to tell the story that is kind of truthful and it's believable, and it will touch a lot of people with my skin color as a kid to grow up in a society where they're not protected, they don't have anything to look up to, but they have this movie to look up to. It's just one movie, I know, but it's a beginning. And the reason why I don't give it full 6 is, after all, it's just a story and they mix a few things up that's not really historical, but they did the best they could, and I think they did a great job. So if you haven't seen it, go see it, because you will have fun watching it. So that was it for now, and I look forward to see you next time. And go check my upcoming review of Avengers Endgame, because I'm supposed to make that one as well. But so far, that's all from now. Have a good evening. Ciao.